If you're a renter, a landlord, maybe I'm not, or anyone with interest in the property market, listen up, because the government wants to remove tax breaks which sweeten the deal for property investors.
That will make it harder for them to make money from bricks and mortar, boost the government's coffers while potentially making it easier for first home buyers to get a look in. But what about the renters? Mikey Sherman has been looking into it.
When it comes to housing, we all have an opinion.
I think it's unaffordable, unsustainable.
There's a population explosion and there's not enough property.
Very expensive.
$1 million entry fee for Auckland's crazy, right?
Crazy.
So the consensus is it isn't good. The question is, what's the answer? One option being considered by the government is scrapping tax breaks on property. So what does that mean? Say you own an investment property and annual costs such as rates and interest total around $30,000, but you only receive $25,000 in rental income. That's a loss of $5,000. Currently, you can apply that loss to your annual salary or wage, meaning you'll likely get money back in your end-of-year tax refund. The proposal is to stop that. Isn't it about alleviating pressure from an overheated property market?
So if you'd suggested 2 years ago that this was about alleviating the market and making it easier for first home buyers and other buyers to get into the market, that would probably have had some validity. It's certainly not true now.
Ashley Church says the Auckland market in particular has cooled down and the rest of the country is following suit. In fact, he's going further to suggest motivation more sinister.
From a political perspective, it's aimed at an element of envy that says if people do well, you've got to do what you can to pull those people down. It's very difficult to read any motivation into this that doesn't somehow come back to punishment and envy.
That's a huge assertion to make against the government.
Short of those motivations, it is extremely difficult to see any other reason why a government would do this, particularly in a market where we are desperately short of rental properties, and so we need more investors to keep up with that demand.
But Wellington renter Robert Whittaker fears that concern about the rental sector isn't genuine.
We're getting a little bit sick and tired of hearing from people who have clear interest in the system continuing to go the way it is. They're making money very well out of it and it suits their interests and their members, because actually we can speak for ourselves and we actually want to see this market sorted out.
The real test will be the impact on the property market. Meanwhile, the Property Institute warns of an exodus of landlords.
The number of rentals will decrease over the next few years as property investors, particularly first-time investors, get out of the market because it becomes too hard for them. That will push rental costs up. That's a very, very dangerous recipe in a country that's growing.
What's going to happen in that scenario is they're going to sell the property either to another investor who's going to become a landlord, in which case there won't be any difference from renters' perspective, or they might sell those properties to people who want to occupy them as owner-occupiers, and that will reduce the demand on the renters' side of the equation.
As for the government, well, in a market where crazy and unaffordable is the consensus, being seen to be doing something will undoubtedly have the people, as they say, sold.